Did you know in this country alone, over 1 million Americans suffer from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? And that's at least 400 kids in this area alone. And there is still no cure yet. Jason Ettinger is one of those people who was misdiagnosed early on, and he's continuing to work to raise funds for research through the annual Guts and Glory Walk, and it's happening this Saturday at the Buffalo Zoo. Jason, nice to have you back. It's been a long time.
Yes.
But you're looking great.
Thank you.
You've had quite a story with this because when you were diagnosed, they weren't even sure what it was. You've been misdiagnosed for years before they finally pinned it down to an ulcerative colitis or Crohn's.
Right. My original symptoms began in 1995. Flu-like symptoms. You don't know what it is you have. It could be the flu, the common cold. I was living in South Carolina at the time. Went to a doctor after I started losing some weight. And then from there, it became an issue of, here, try this medication. If it works in 6 to 8 weeks, fine. If not, come back and see us. That continued for almost 2 years. And you'd think at some point you would say, hey, let's get in and look at this a little deeper. But being, 24, a little bit naive and unfamiliar with, the medical profession, because I'd been so healthy for my young life. I ended up going in, and they sent me to a specialist in Augusta, Georgia, a fine doctor by the name of Joseph Rosen, if I remember right. It's been a long time, who I woke up in a hospital bed that afternoon and told me, you have Crohn's disease. First opinion was, what was that? So from there, it's been 10 years since the diagnosis, with those misdiagnoses, I went through everything from the course of medication, like I mentioned, to at one point they tested me for psychosis, as is to say it's all in your head.
A 45-pound loss in your head.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. If everybody could learn how to lose that kind of weight using their mind, we wouldn't have so much of an issue in America today. But yes, 45 pounds of weight loss. Nobody knew what was going on.
Wow.
And
the suffering during all that time, I can only imagine.
Absolutely. I became a homebody, basically. For someone who's always up on his feet and on the go for as long as I was. Being in the military, being a mobility troop, I lost my mobility status because I couldn't get up and jump out the door in a 4-hour notice if necessary. I would drive down the highway wondering if I was going out to dinner with my family or going out shopping, where the nearest bathroom was. And it's one of those things that is basically taboo in America. We don't talk about the bathroom, but the fact is that everybody goes. And it's one of those things where it's not only physically impairing, but emotionally as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. And it's sad because your story is probably not unique. There's a lot of people a few years ago, and not that many years ago, who really never got a definitive diagnosis. And Jason was telling me in the break, we're so lucky here in Western New York. We do have some wonderful doctors here. And just by being a part of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America here in Western New York, it's a great proactive, group that will pass a lot of knowledge around. And the more you learn, the more you can take care of yourself.
Right. And in the past 10 to 12 years, my issue was that I could count the number of people I knew with Crohn's or colitis on both of my hands with fingers left over. And when it came time to join the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, it was a matter of getting into a group of people, whether it be one time a month or multiple times a month, to talk with them about the issues that specifically affect me, because I had to realize that I'm going to have this pretty much for the rest of my life until and if they find the cure for this.
Yeah.
With the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, they fit a mission statement. It's simple: a future free of Crohn's and colitis.
Let me ask you, Jason, did any of this run in your family that you knew of or know of?
Well, strangely, my mother, who she was diagnosed with a variety of colitis about 2 years after my original diagnosis. So it does raise the question of hereditary traits. There are some connections to hereditary traits. They never put anything definitive on it because they still test from everything from good and bad bacteria in the body to I mean, what you eat.
And I don't recall from reading that it hasn't many boundaries. It could be, you could at any time have a problem with this.
Really, yeah.
Any kind of person. Yeah.
They're also trying to find out whether or not something like this lies dormant in the body, you know, and they're trying to ultimately find that trigger. With Crohn's specifically, it's centered to one portion of the digestive tract, which can easily be seen, you know, within MRIs and, you know, your screening colonoscopies and sigmoidoscopies, etc. But once they find out, you know, there's so much information out that wasn't there 20, 30 years
absolutely.
ago. There's a plethora of information they can lay out for you.
Yeah, which luckily is what this walk is all about.
Right.
You learn so much more about it.
Absolutely. The walk this Saturday, the registration begins at 10 a.m. The walk will begin itself at 11, located at the Buffalo Zoo and around Delaware Park as well. Come on down for, of course, the walk itself. We have Chinese auctions, silent auctions.
And there's usually a lot of information about the diseases there, too.
Yes, we do have, we'll definitely have several stations that are located there with information in regards to the CCFA, Crohn's and colitis itself.
Jason, we're going to just hold for a second. I think we have a phone call, so we'll take our phone call and get our question or comment. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, caller. Go ahead, please.
Hi, my name is Carrie from South Buffalo, and I was diagnosed 7 years ago with Crohn's disease, and as a result of it, I've had over half of my insides taken out. But recently I came out of remission, and my doctor had put me on Humira after trying 23 different other medications that did not work, including Remicade. The Humira is fabulous. It has taken me from no energy, losing weight, and being pale and in and out of the hospital to riding my bike again.
Wow.
Only going to the bathroom like 4 to 6 times a day instead of 12. And they just recently did the Humira, approved it for Crohn's disease in February. So just a word of advice to people out there that might be having a hard time of it, coming out of remission, talk to their doctor, let them know what's going on. See if maybe you can try the Humira if your medical coverage will cover it.
Boy, I'm so glad you called. That could help a lot of people out there.
I didn't know you had callers on here sometimes, but yes, she's actually the first person that I've heard that where Humira works for them. It's actually one of the newer medications on the market. Myself, I take bi-monthly infusions of Remicade, which have sustained me quite well since October of '04. So Humira would, of course, be the next step if, for any reason, anytime Remicade were to fail. But yes, and I sympathize with her as far as the surgery is concerned. When I woke up in that hospital in Augusta, Georgia, they wanted to do the whole surgery, take everything out. But why jump to such conclusions when something like Crohn's and colitis can be managed with a sense, you know, the diet, the exercise, and of course the right medication. So her story, I'm going to need to share that because
amazing, just amazing,
great for her.
Jason, what we're going to do is we're going to put up some information. Hopefully someone at home heard something that can help them here today. Guts and Glory Walk, you got to love the name. Saturday, September 8th. Step off at the Buffalo Zoo. It's only a $5 registration, and of course that goes for continued education and awareness. Please call a toll-free 1-888-MY-GUT-PAIN, and you may also log on to www.ccfawny.org and just step out to the zoo. I mean, these people are going to be there. They're going to have a lot of information, and you can talk with someone and share your story, and hopefully it's one of improvement. All right, we'll take a quick break. We've got more to do, so we hope you'll stay with us.
Well, more than 400 Western New Yorkers spending their morning helping the local chapter of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation by taking part in the Guts and Glory Walk. That's what they call it in Delaware Park. Participants helping to raise more than $30,000 to help fight the disease, which causes an inflammatory condition of the intestinal tract. And two on your side, Stu Boyer right there in the red shirt, serving as the MC for today's walk, the Stu Man.